Roll a persuasion.
What say you to this plea?
No!
Tears of glitter fall from my eyes.
We have reached 100% kiss boy density after they attack each other. They were on their way to find Sig, Ariana's tutor, the head of magical botany, and someone who had already been a vector for the Infernals in a previous incident. And if Unter Meowlu, the library cat, would get off of my stream deck so I could run the show, that would be fantastic.
Oh, is it Athlon time? Let me at him. Let me at that.
Regards. Regards.
I'll kill that little.
All right.
Quiet down. Are you guys dating? Are you guys a thing?
Mason doesn't respond.
Time and place, Garnet.
Wait, is Francisco saying that?
Yes.
I mean, a maze is quite a romantic date, right?
Mason, you saved her. Oh, see, like Mason's the one who did all the work. These are like his dogs, and he led us here, and he really was so worried. And we fought this big thing earlier, and Mason was just so cool.
Oh my God, the vouch.
Thank you for the lampo.
Roll to vouch, persuasion or deception, your choice.
Mason will try to say some of those things are true.
Breaking time and space with their arcane potential, they're able to burrow into this creature's mind and tell it no. And determined, having not seen a creature for who knows how long, this lonely, sad soul ignores the command. And then, in retrospect, Camellia, burning an ounce of their heroism and the bit of luck that they got from Fortune's father, is able to also bring their will to bear, trying to force this creature not to do that. And like a stubborn child that demands more from life than what it's been given, the lonely creature says
it still has
9.
to make the attack roll for it to
That's
land,
right.
but...
And now it has to make the attack roll, so it is going to make its attack. After all of this, it's just going to miss. Watch. All right, so.
Come on, baby.
Harpoon arm, go. A natural 1! I have 9 inspiration. I'm using one. But that wail of yes from the natural 1.
Ooh, addition.
Hunting horns, strength to the predators, woe to the prey. All right, that means somebody has to assert their dominance to gain an advantage. Whoever doesn't is we call that the Alexander bookmark.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
All right.
Got a stick at the book.
Thank you for ruining the subtlety of that entire moment. Just flat out saying it.
I remember leg day saying it. It's just so funny.
Oh God, editing
Clear the
that.
air. There's
funny.
no dick in the book. Just to clear the
I mean,
air.
he has his
No
back.
dick in the book.
Well,
Just
he's-
two
he's
vague
got the book back.
sweaty stains.
walking to Alex's area. It's gonna be.
No wonder
my
he went and
God.
stole it.
Yeah, I needed it back.
Oh my God, he's like so smart.
And Tarsamore also saved. So yeah, the woman is the only one who suffered in this. We live in a
The
fucking
woman's
society.
the dumb one. Oh, the dice. Dice
That's
is sexist.
okay. How a chain is only as strong as its weakest link when it comes to rituals.
Oh, now women are weak. I love this campaign.
Wait, what do you?
Care for the capybara.
I walk over to him.
Okay.
And I'm tired of watching this. And I slice his throat. You die with honor. And I keep sawing for a little bit, just so I get the head out. And I hold the head up above.
Blood everywhere.
For you! For you!
You know, I've
There
been
will be
saying
no
if,
next time. Come on.
if at first you don't succeed, you can keep trying until you succeed. I think is the
I'm a
saying there.
trash cannot, Mason.
No.
I'm a trash cannot.
Got it. Remember the conversation that we had earlier? I think some concepts can apply here about how, you know, when you're in your own emotions, you feel like you want to do the thing right now, and sometimes you don't want to do the thing at all, and that's right now. But then you have friends or people that
I'm gonna die
you know
alone.
no, Garnet, you're gonna be okay. Let's just. Can you take some deep breaths? We can do it together. We can do it together.
Who am I gonna take to the blue gala or whatever fucking color it is? Small girls, just checking.
No, grown men can live for sword, Garnet.
Well,
Would you like
I
to
could
try?
eat a soul. I could eat a soul like a snack.
But I'm more thinking practical terms about swinging this fucking massive sword.
Well, what if
And
it turns him
honestly,
evil?
I'm sorry, but
Evil
your
Chad?
arms are small and noodly.
Excuse Mantra, my arms are not noodly.
Matcha comes walking
Minus
back
2 strength.
from the meeting. He's like, what did I just walk in on?
Oh, Mantra isn't here. Oh,
infernal sword.
Yeah, you open the door. The sword is just like covered with evil runes on the floor on a plate, and you just see Garnet going.
My arms are noodly, right?
Do you
Right,
think you live that, Zweihander?
Yeah, you try it.
Your arms aren't noodly, but that thing is pretty big.
And evil.
And apparently evil. What is that?
This cat one shot is the most heinous betrayal and morally compromising action I've seen in a campaign, and I run supervillain games.
No, but like, what charisma? What am I doing?
Wisdom saving throw. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
I swear to God, I'm gonna murder you, Maddie. Okay. Okay. Wisdom. Fuck me.
Oh no.
No, so this is what happens. Ready? I go, come out, and then I hear put him back. I go, radio.
Yeet.
And then I go, yeet.
They call out to her in Draconic, and she responds.
Wait, do I also see Sventisco for a brief second through the orb?
Roll a perception check.
Okay.
No, you just see this guard walk out.
What do they say to her?
You been there the entire time?
No.
And she got a natural 1, and she says, Sventisco. I mean, no.
She says her own name like a Pokemon.
Yes.
Oh no.
I need everybody in the room to roll for initiative.
Oh.
Damn, that's
No,
so
Monty, your
rough.
girlfriend. Shit.
That's, you know, she got a natural 1. I decided she just freaking panicked.
She's trying her best, okay.
And she rolled a 2
Don't
on the
make fun of
initiative,
her.
so she sits there like an idiot.
Okay. All right. This is a ridiculous plan, and they're going to go with it.
I prefer the one where we don't die, so I like this.
They go away
Also,
after
I need
an
some
hour.
earplugs.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so
Someone gonna heal me?
yeah, they're already like coming back with healing potions in crates. You know, like 24 packs of healing potions.
She's got a shock and a healing potion.
It's like a study session all over again. It's just chugging Red Bull.
Once again,
Red Bull give you fiends.
not what I expected to be happening today.
Then tell me everything you believe may have occurred.
You ever heard of the ass snake?
I don't know.
Oh, he said ass snake.
I don't know what they preach where you come from, mortal, but that's not actually a problem. We don't really care. That's, whatever keeps being alive joyful, you keep being alive joyful. That's not my concern.
Hi.
Okay, describe this devil's fate at the claws of Slobber Chops.
He gets like whipped around, lands on his head, still like conscious and alive. Slobs just starts like going at his ass, just like and just disembowels him.
Oh!
Like I imagine the camera pans away and you hear a sound like a wood chipper, and you just see gore spewing off to the side. It's like somewhat, discretionary shot, but
His legs are like.
And then Slobber Chops' face comes up into the screen, covered in gore, and it just does the one lick, the one like aggressive face lick. Yep.
I hate exactly what it is. I hate everything I stand for.
They're assassins. They're basically ninjas. Dexterity is what they're good at. That said, they don't have evasion. They all take the damage in the face. They're all significantly weakened. And you blow a hole in the side of the tent, and Untermaler is going to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Oh shit.
Oops.
Oh, these
fine.
damn kids and their fireballs.
He's fine.
Back in my day, you did 5 minutes of trigonometry to make sure no one was in the blast radius.
Well, you guys didn't teach me that. I was born this way, so.
Ariana, Garnet said like high fiving. Yes, slay, queen.
Yes, slay. Actually, slay them.
All right. So he's just standing there minding his own goddamn business when a giant fireball goes off and singes him for 21 points of damage.
You said to
Said I'm
look.
intimidating, and I gotta be more.
Oh.
Less of that. And
No. I don't think you have to be less of that. It's just that you are, and that's okay. But
I don't want to just be okay. I want to be amazing for a mate or whatever.
amazing for a mate.
Yeah.
Cut it out, you're trying to fuck.
Not that kind of mate. Like a crewmate. A life crewmate.
Sus.
Like a mate.
Wow.
Creatures of flesh, now you shall hear the words of the emissary of the Maelstrom. Are you the one who has polluted this holy place with the machines and their wretched city?
No, but I just came back from destroying a machine city, and I think we want the same thing. I also hate pollution.
Give me a persuasion check, please.
+5 respect
15.
for Eco Warrior faction.
I'm Green Party, man. I'm Green Party. Jeez.
Save the turtles, bro.
Save the turtles.
Eldritch Blast to the face at the werewolf. I refuse to flinch.
And a nat 20. Critical hit.
I'm just going to reach out, grab him in the face, and just...
Another 21 points of force damage. Oof. Do you want to tell them or should I?
It's not looking good, chat.
Oh, no.
Toddleheim.
Oh, no.
Drops to 0. All right, champions, round number 3. Fight.
I would like to cast fuck this at 3rd level.
You could certainly try.
I'll cast an invisibility at 2nd level.
That's the appropriate name for it. Fuck this, I'm out. We're renaming invisibility.
That's so
looks out after the fleeing scientist. Abby, go. And then you go over. He's going to touch the back of the doctor's head with his symbiote hand, and then his hand is going to transform, into the doctor's hand, and he's going to put it on the orb.
Oh. Yeah.
On behalf of everyone here at Casters and Castles, I would like to issue a formal apology. I had some kind of snarky, clever opening, and between pressing the intro button and now, I completely forgot it. I will work to grow, I will work to be better and improve, and return after I think about what I've done.
Better.
That being said, this is Casters and Castles. I am tormented by gnomes. I'm your game master. Tonight, I am joined by Crowan and Leg Day because Lemon Kiwi is out making the biscuits. So, Crowan, how are things?
Well, worse now that I've been disappointed by my dungeon master, who
it was
said they
bound
would
to
have
happen
something
again,
again and again. Unless if I roll a coin of fate this episode and I roll on a 2, then you're forgiven. That's my condition.
Sweet. All right, chat. You know what to do. Legs, how are you, bud?
Lemon's making the biscuits. I'm eating the biscuits. Is how it's sitting at the moment. I'm ready to do some miscellanea. It's gonna be great. We're gonna tie up some loose ends. Probably check in on some characters that the community wants to see. Well, this is gonna be like did anyone ever watch the Pokemon Chronicles episodes? They were the weird episodes of the anime that didn't follow Ash, but just followed all the other characters. That people were like, whatever the fuck happened to that guy?
It reminds me of the little mini series that played right before Pokemon 2000, where it's just like the Pokemon on vacation, just them.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, that was such a good little special on their little island.
Banger song that I'm not going to repeat because I don't want to get DMCA'd.
The Lawyer of Damocles.
Yeah, the Lawyer of Damocles. Yoink. Notice of meme acquisition.
That's hot off of presses. Original.
When last we left our heroes, they had traveled via magic to the lands to the distant east, the jungles, misty valleys, and high soaring peaks of Aurix, the Gold Dragon tribe, and Mantra's homeland. They traveled here because while conducting and there's Coin of Fate has been played.
That's crazy.
On the path to forgiveness for gnomes.
Go ahead and add that to your inventory. If I get a 1, I'm like, I don't know, canceled or something.
Add that to your inventory.
Yeah.
Me, right? That's my Coin of Fate. I'm pretty sure that's my thing.
I'll let the two of you figure that out. Either make an agreement or do a roll off.
I already have a coin of fate in my inventory.
Then, Athalor, congratulations. You have a Coin of Fate.
Woohoo! I've been sitting on it for a good few months now. And
you may get right of first refusal for Gamba, but I'm not letting you stack those. That's nutty.
Yeah, no, that's
ridiculous.
That's totally fair.
After conducting dangerous magical experiments with the world on the other side of every mirror, you perceived an Auryxian sorcerer traveling through that dangerous realm. And you beheld, though you could not hear, that person communing with a dark power of that plane. Presumably Imago themselves, the Mirror Keeper, the infernal, one of the great infernals who came to Anakra during the dawn to take its light. After realizing that the sorcerer, who you'd never met before, had been replaced by his mirror clone and was now an agent of the enemy, they made contact with the Oryx tribe and traveled here to warn them in person. While they were here, Mantra sought the guidance of the dragon god of his ancestors, warning Aurix about the powerful spell that was created using all of Mantra's ancestors, a spell intended to bind the very dragon god himself. And while he knelt at the altar in prayer, he saw a vision, mostly of his own life, his own choices. There was no anger or judgment, just looking, just introspection throughout all of it, until the very end, when the vision turned to the mirror at the very top of Mantra's family tree, the source, Imago themselves, and only there did wrath and justice fall. Our heroes are still here in Aurix, and when our story begins, I'm going to give you both the customary, any side scenes you want to do, any housekeeping questions you may have, but when you're ready, we will proceed to Nilranim, Mirror Nilranim, being dragged into the central chamber.
Athelor would like a side mantra, like as Garnet's like, I wouldn't mind actually staying to see how this goes down if you're interested. I don't know if it's something you actually want to see.
I'm pretty neutral to it, to be honest. Maybe there'll be some insights gleaned by staying around. I trust them to do what they will, but if you're curious, sure,
I mean,
I can stay.
I know you trust them, but always makes me feel better to, see if it actually happens.
Yeah, understandable. These are not your people, and while you have reason to trust, of course, it's not bad to have your mind at ease. Just a bit.
It's
more than usual.
it's more for me, you know.
Yeah, of course.
For me.
I'm
need to
curious, I suppose, myself as to what will be revealed.
Need to see him lose, Mantra.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And with that, do you step out into the grand central chamber? The resplendent figure who was leading the council of all the tribal elders has shed their human guise. A massive gold dragon stands at the center of the circle. Before them, the false Nilranim is bound, hands behind their back, gagged, completely unable to cast any magic whatsoever. The elders from all the various clans and families of Aurix from every monastery mountain have gathered here. Not all of them. I don't think there's a representative from your home monastery, Mantra, since this is a rather sudden thing, and they wouldn't necessarily have everyone travel. But the dragon stands firm and solemn above Mirror Nilranim and speaks in a glowing, resonating voice. You have taken the life of a dear friend, a servant of the dragon god, one loved by his family and friends. You sought to steal that for yourself, and you sought to bring harm to us and our people. There can be only one path forward: justice. Noises of assent all around the circle. Nilranim looks straight up into the eyes of the gold dragon. There's a moment of silence, a pause, and then the dragon Ionderth says, "The prisoner may speak." A kobold elder walks forward and removes the gag. Suddenly, the tone in the room changes. The acoustics become resonant, echoes. Every single sound slightly doubled. A presence flows into the chamber, one that stands up even against this child of Oryx, this gold dragon in its splendor. A presence that, though yonder towers above Nilranim, for a moment, the sorcerer looks up as if they were at eye level, as if they were of the same height and the same stature. Mantra, a chill runs down your spine. Something that you have felt before, but not in the presence of any mirror clone.
Does it feel like Imago is like channeling themselves through Nilranim right now, or the mirror clone of Nilranim, or?
Nilranim speaks in a voice both his and not his own. Justice, 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 justice. And who will seek justice for me? Justice for me. Justice for me. Justice for me. Who will seek to right the wrongs inflicted upon me? The harm, the utter destruction, and you, created in its image, would pass judgment on me, when all I seek is to regain that which was taken from me, violently, at the dawn. There's a chattering of elders amongst themselves, and Nilranim looks over for a moment, directly at Athalor and at Mantra. Their eyes, you can see your own reflection in their eyes. And you know it is Imago's voice that speaks. And though he turns back to address the dragon, the sound of the room feels as if he is speaking not into your ear, but directly and personally to you. Do you know why we came here in the first place and became prisoners? It was light. It was light. It was beauty. We saw it from afar. The destroyer wanted to conquer it. The serpent wanted to hide it. The scorpion wanted to poison it. The ruin wanted to devour it. But I only marveled at its beauty. And yet when the coward god unsealed those terrible gates, I burned with the rest of them. You have never seen me, and you never will. I have neither face nor form, for the horrors that inspired your creation took them from me. The dragons destroyed my beauty, my visage, my face, and the crude elements took that world of limitless joy and broke it and turned it into something crude and cruel, a prison. And for what? For the crime of cherishing beauty? To hate each day the things made in the very image of your suffering? Nilranim now looks directly at you, Mantra. Right at you. Mantra, blood of my blood, family awaits you. Though Garnet wields Shadow's power, it is you who stands in the shadows. Embrace your blood, be loved, and you will live forever. Deny it, and you will find only. Nilranim turns to Athalor, a look of sorrow on his face. Endless heartbreak.
If your version of justice exists within a reality of hateful and envious retribution, it is not justice.
Nilranim looks just crushed. Just heartbroken. Eondirth speaks again. This council has neither power nor right to judge you for deeds committed before our time, before our world. We can only judge what has been done in our sight to those we love. And you, who speak with the voice of another, and who stands here in Nilranim's place, perhaps you had no way to live but to kill him. And for that we grieve. It is wrong that your moments from coming into existence should be filled with fear and desperation. It is wrong that by your creation, the only way that you can live is to kill and take the place of another. And yet that does not justify it. You are to be imprisoned and interrogated, that justice might be done on you and on your allies. With that, Irixian gold dragonborn priests wearing simple plain robes walk forward. They replace Nilranim's gag, and they march him away somewhere deep, deep within this natural mountainous spire. The Miraclone takes one last look over at the two of you. Pleading? Mourning? You're not sure. But it is a look filled with sorrow. And with that, the Miraclone is ushered out of sight, out of the light, and into the darkness.
He has no face, no body, but he does have goals and desires. I'll see them both cast into the void. Should check to see if normal detection methods worked, or if they needed to do something more. I didn't see last time, but maybe it was a recent replacement. It hadn't been a check since.
Yeah. Seems to be the case.
You can reunite with Zaldret if need be, the gold dragonborn who escorted you here and has sort of been your entourage.
Chaperone.
Chaperone, thank you. The word escaped me.
Yeah, I'll try and shack up with the Elder again.
Okay.
Yeah, Elder, I was hoping to just query about the detection. Was the Miraclone able to hide their nature?
No. We think that Nilranim was taken only recently. The eyes of truth perceived the replacement. The corpse you saw in that cursed place may have been another.
Mason, the timelines, they might add up for the exchange happening in your village.
What do you mean?
Maybe he went to the same cave.
Oh. When we were there.
I don't know why he would, but evidently the Miraki beholds some sway there. And there are plenty of places where the switch could have happened, but...
Do you mean that this aligns with when Nilrenim took the leave of absence from here?
As far as I'm aware, Elder, yes. The window in which it could have been replaced does meet with when he last visited Mantra's village. In my little mental map, I may not have all the dates correct.
Yeah, would that Gnomes would those
Run that by
dates
me again.
overlap? Of when we went to my little Oryxian village, does that align with when Nilrenim took their leave of absence from?
There's not a lot of data to pin things down, but the leave of absence was shortly afterwards. So not while you were
shortly
there.
after he went to the Mantra's village.
Correct, which was shortly after your visit there.
There weren't any whispers of, like, occult at your village, right? Mantra Elder? Anything?
I am not from Mantra's home. Ever vigilant are we against the whispers of the enemy. But too vigilant we are not. There can be no such thing. We must redouble our efforts and look within.
Nothing I've heard about that either.
Okay. Well, I'm glad they couldn't shield themselves from detection now anyway.
I wonder whose corpse that was that we saw then. A skeleton.
Perhaps.
I'm sure there's a great many victims.
Perhaps it will hold useful secrets, but perhaps it will not be worth the risk to mind and soul.
Yeah.
There are some things we're already too invested in, Elder. Might cost more to leave them unturned.
We claim no authority over the Ioth Academy. And what our own people do as they study must be their own decision. Mantra and Athalor are ever welcome here. You may stay as long as you need.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Elder.
I believe we shall be returning soon, however.
When you are prepared, I will be ready. All you need to do to leave is to let Zaldrit know, and he'll take you away.
Any family in the city, Mantra?
Not here. I think I need some time to think. Anything else you need here?
No, just one last judgment of the decor. You know, under it's far more silver-pilled. It's a bit gaudy.
Too gaudy for your liking?
I mean, it's just not as refined, is it?
Speaking of refined, a lot of this is left natural. Onderud is an artificial city. The city, with this, it's skyless. Both sides just look at each other. Whereas this place is barely built up at all. There's a few beautiful things, but anytime that the stone itself does the job, they let it. So less refined would be an appropriate word.
More primal. I'm ready.
Zaldrit escorts you down to a place where sorcerers are prepared with scrolls of teleportation circle. They have been given the official sigils for Ioth Academy. They don't know the secret ones that let you directly into the Spire or into Tarsimore Hall or any of that.
Causeway is fine.
They inscribe it upon the floor, invoke the magic, the light flows upwards, you are able to step into the portal, the world falls away, your stomach leaps, and then reassuring stone beneath you, and the glittering armor of the wardens all around you. You have returned to Ioth Academy. As has Garnet, who's going to go do her own thing.
Yeah.
How do you feel around dragons? Is it like a religious experience for a dragon tribe member? Or is it like a lot more common than it would be for someone like me?
Definitely a sense of reverence that I hold, I think. Kind of awe at the fact of, I don't know, just the power, really.
There's a lot of it.
I hold a lot of weight. So, albeit maybe more common, a yes to both. Common but more special. That makes sense.
Wondering if I would feel the same towards any particular kind of creature.
That sense of awe?
Reverence, but also maybe a bit of kinship?
Do you think you felt that ever?
I guess the closest was when we were on the moon, but I wouldn't call Rayalta a creature. She's
yeah,
she's a Titan.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just obviously Underwood is essentially, all artificial. So we don't have that kind of connection to like creatures and beings of primal power. It's just people.
It's quite different where you and I are from. Even comparatively to Brontha too, for Garnet.
Yeah, like Brontha's also kind of like Underwood and how it's built up and people centric, but like they have their Phoenix, right? They've got their. I'm just thinking about statecraft as well. Maybe a national animal. Good idea.
Perhaps. Once you rise into your position of power.
If I rise into my position of power.
Fair. Suppose it's not a guarantee, although... Oh, I don't know. Many things could still change.
Could just die.
We all could just die.
I guess that's true.
Maybe at any point, the Infernals will just win.
Yeah. Certainly fucking hope not.
And what would all this work be for?
Struggling against the tide. You should go see Sven. I've got sword class.
See you later.
Were this a video game, which it is not, you would have multiple indicators on your map of people who wish to see you, wish to talk to you. Sven wants to talk at Volshtabur, the tea house. She hasn't really talked about her experience breaking up the Eluitolel army and all of that. And there's a lot that she wants to talk about. Untermaler has not returned yet, but there is still the matter of Kustiak, the fox-headed fiend who offered you help with that shadow creature. It may be worth speaking to the sage or somebody else about his conniving schemes. And Untermaler will return in a few days, at which point you can go ahead and follow up with him. Athalor, your second uncle, Miahethil has issued you an invitation to his office that you may follow at your discretion.
Oh, excellent. That'll be fun.
And of course, if you have anything else that you wish to do or wish to follow up on, I will figure it the hell out.
Cool.
Chat has bestowed Fortune's favor on you. You have a 1d8 that you may use on a d20 roll of your choice. It is a party resource. Chat has also played a Cryas card.
Ooh.
Did not talk to Cryas for a while. So Cryas is now on the list, but unless you seek him out, I imagine that's going to be a chance encounter. So, Miahethil, Sventisco, Cryas, and Untermaler upon his return.
Cool. Take me interested for all.
What
You
do
wanna
you
go
want
first?
to pick on first?
I think maybe we could do a joint scene, or like you and Sven together first, and then Athlor will join to talk about Volch de Boer.
Sure.
The politicking.
Sounds good to me.
Because Athlor's going to have to beef with the bartender while you guys talk at the beginning. Apparently, the barista, rather.
When you get there, Sventisco's sitting over a cup of spiced tea, hot spiced tea. There's like a cinnamon stick sticking out of it. You can tell she's full of nervous energy. None of the other Kizjon are here with her. Normally, a few of them would hang out here, but at the moment, they are nowhere to be seen. Possibly by her request. Who's to say?
Mantra walks over initially, gives her a little kiss, and says, "That looks good. You've inspired me. Make it the same thing. I'll be right back." And goes and orders the same. Comes back with it a few moments later.
Athlor can order for you while he's mid argument with the barista.
What are they arguing
That's
about?
what he lines arguing.
What are they arguing about?
Oh, whether northern or southern chai is better.
Okay.
Athlor's very north pilled.
All right, and this is a deeply held personal grudge at this point. She is from Tazqualaran, all the way in the south originally, and just says that like the spices up here are just flat. It's not the same. If it doesn't bite your tongue, what's the point?
Athlor's making mentions about like the survival of the plant is what confers so much vigor into the spice. It's not about the flavor; it's about the energy. You know, proper tea wank talk.
Arguing about strainers and the like. Anyways, while that's happening in the background, Mantra, you've sat down at the next to or across from Sven, and you both have these spiced tea.
Yeah, take a little sip. It's like, yeah, good choice. Kind of puts a hand around hers if it is on the table. And how are you feeling?
What's going on? Anything new? Anything important?
Yes. Just came back from the Oryxian capital.
What?
Yeah, took a little
You
journey.
have to go see it? Have you ever seen it before?
No, actually, no. This is my first time.
I'm almost mad at you. She punches you in the shoulder.
Almost, keyword, almost. I think it's a possibility we could go back sometime and I show you.
I'll make it.
Yeah, it was. You know how everything's just happening very fast nowadays. I don't remember if I've informed you of this yet, but we did some little preliminary testing of mirror plane interacting stuff in a safe manner. We just kind of like scried.
Hold this.
In there.
She passes you her hot tea.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Just checking. She was looking at which hand you grabbed it with.
Yeah, no, that's where we didn't actually enter. But we did see someone who was in there, and I seemed rather stupidly coincidental, honestly, that I happened to recognize this person. The name was Nelranim. They're on the council at the Phyrexian capital of some sorcerer. Not really a very prominent note, to be honest, but turned out they were mirror cloned, and so we went to warn them. And
that makes sense. I mean, look at us. Imagine if they tried to take, if they tried to take Unchamal or someone else, right? They'd be found out immediately because we're onto them. But if they took somebody who wasn't under such scrutiny, that'd be a lot smarter. That's how I would do it.
Well, that's what the Mirror Keeper has decided, I suppose. And I mean, they would have been found out eventually, even if we didn't.
How much would they have learned or been able to do by that point?
I don't know. They seem to be vigilant with the checking of everybody, but only takes a moment. Something can slip by, and who knows what kind of damage that does.
Yeah. Now that this new rune is out there, this Doakai's rune, we need to make sure that it gets out to all the tribes as fast as possible so they can all be protected.
Yeah. It's a good idea. What about for you? You had quite the performance back at that meeting.
Yes, Athel kind of sits down next to it. He's got like a pack of like loose leaf spiced tea that he has agreed to take as like the truce at the end. This is Ioth Academy's newest MC. Greatest MC, pardon me.
You just leave her alone. Don't you have anything more important to tell? Like a million more important things to talk about?
I didn't want to be like within, 2 meters where you guys were touching lips and stuff.
We weren't. Okay. All right. That's fine. Whatever your maybe it's a cultural hang up. Who knows? Athelor, were you doing all this? Did you get to go to Arx too?
I look sideways at Mason.
Just nodding, yeah.
Yes.
I am going to have to catch up.
It was certainly a unique architectural experience. I mean, have you gone to the Buffotland capital?
Capital's kind of a strong word.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure if it's something that counts as a no offense.
Jildret's table. Yeah, I've been there. She absently runs her hand through the strand of living copper hair.
Not a big architecture thing, I'm guessing.
We don't like to set down roots. We don't like to be stuck anywhere. We like to be free to, if we change our minds about something, we can just go. Nothing's holding us back. Jildret's table is there not as a place where people live, but as a place where all the different clans can meet to hash out their differences loudly. They had to build something strong enough to survive all that arguing and big enough to keep everybody off of each other's throats.
And to house some dragons?
Just the one, really. Jildret. Jildret himself.
Is that the one you were arguing with, or is that another dragon?
No. Jildret is... Again, I don't think anybody's in charge of my people. I don't think anyone would want the job, and I don't think anyone would survive the job. But Jildret is there to act as like an arbiter for disagreements.
Mutually respected, I guess.
Yeah. Someone who can see every side of every argument and argue any side of any debate and try to make fair choices.
In that case, what do we know about the dragon you met? Anything?
I haven't looked that far yet. All I pretty much have is a name.
They would say that's all you need.
Mm-hmm. Budrisis.
Budrisis.
It'd be more of a Budrisis.
It's a bit tough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They say we talk with an accent, because the facial shape. You can always tell.
Snouty.
Yeah, you can always tell where somebody learned, even if they're a fluent speaker. Budrisis is obviously thrown in his lot with the faithful, but I don't know that much more about him. I know for barely an adult dragon, his scales aren't that thick. And I know he's still out there. And I imagine that the rest of the faithful, wherever they are, have heard about this. Though I do know they operate in cells, carefully divided to segment information so that if one group is captured, the rest of them can survive. So I don't know exactly how this would get out there, but I imagine the really important higher-up people would know about this. Maybe I can ask the elders if they can find him.
It's a good idea.
I mean, Mason does have a crystal ball.
I mean, could always try the scrying, or we could ask the Power of Divination if they have any resources to expend.
I guess dragons probably have true sight, right? They could probably see a scrying sensor.
Not all of them.
Not all
Definitely
of
not.
them?
No, definitely not all of them. They have great sight and hearing.
I'm learning so much about dragons.
Yeah. But they definitely can't all. The trouble is, if you're invisible and you're sneaking up on them, they're going to smell you.
Oh.
But as far as I know, scrying sensors don't smell like anything.
Desperation. Maybe just ours.
So yeah, there's a few things we can try. Maybe we can find him. From what I learned from Kepesk, their higher-ups are going to be using magic to protect their locations. But, that kind of magic in that quantity, you really only find in places like this. And in throne rooms and really, really important places. So, not everywhere they go is going to be protected. But just like the Mirror Keeper was doing, it might make more sense to find some lower ranking people and use them to trace our way up, because they're less likely to be shrouded in any way. What do you want to do if we find him, Lore?
Oh, I didn't have much of a dragon killing plan. It's not particularly my area of expertise. I was just wondering. I was talking with Mantra earlier about symbols and how they rally people's beliefs, and having a dragon on site definitely seemed like an innovating factor to that collection of shaky-hearted converts.
Yeah, I think it worked against them.
You think?
Yeah. Because that dragon was made in Bathotlo's image. And to the faithful, the 10 dragon gods aren't strong enough. They're just imitations. They're shadows. And the people who created them weren't strong enough to protect the dawn. And so their creations can't be strong enough to protect the dawn. So all he would have reminded them of would be the religion they grew up with, the teachings that they were taught from a young age. So I don't know. I feel like that conflicted some of them. And it worked when I called him out on it.
Maybe not worth any effort to... that's some real self-loathing. To join a cult that hates what you are and wishes to supplant... this might be my first dragon with self-esteem issues.
There's layers to that, it seems.
So many layers.
But it's still better to know stuff than to not know stuff. And the location of a dragon who is leading an insurgency against my home.
How do you feel about how it went? Just generally.
She sits back in her chair, her hair sort of draping down in front of her. Not like covering her face. She's just, she's got a very long neck, very like sort of tall stature and such. And so it falls forward as she is thinking, and again, twisting with her hair. I think I know what he gave me.
What do you mean?
Kebesk, the dragon?
No. Oh. Yeah.
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 What's your theory?
I mean, Mantra, you were there. He wasn't really straightforward about anything. Which makes sense. The fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, you know what I mean? But he never said exactly what this was or how it changed me.
Just a blessing.
Yeah. But when I was up there and everyone could hear my voice, I felt so strong. And all the fear and shakes that you get when you're talking in front of a lot of people, that even with our kids, John, I have to keep that. I have to breathe through that every time that I stand up and expect people to listen to me about things. I need them to be able to believe in me. And so I have to look like I'm not afraid and I'm not uncertain. And when I was standing up there, all that was gone. It was so far away from me. And I could think clearly. There was nothing standing between me and the next word, and the next word, and the next word. I think Botholo just unlocked my voice.
Well, your voice always seems, and your presence always seems to be powerful, just as powerful as it was then.
Oh, no, it's different. It's different. It's different for me.
Yeah, if it does feel different to you, then that must be it.
I mean,
could be it, I suppose.
Was it just up there? Because you said with the Kizjan, you feel like the anxiety of speaking since you got this copper braid?
No, it's everywhere. But when I was standing face to face with a dragon, an actual dragon, and I challenged him to Uvelikal, I have never felt it so strongly than then.
I mean, far be it from me to be the Kismet guy, but maybe Bartholo gave you some clarity of purpose?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I didn't say what it was, but I wouldn't expect him to. If I'm not clever enough to figure it out, then I'm not the right person for the job.
I think there's a little bit of god gaslighting going on there. I think it's too much to ask.
Could be you're the perfect person.
Well, I mean, are your relatives always...
They're pretty clear with their intentions.
Huh.
It's in a family like mine, everybody is always insulting each other. And very rarely do we mean it. And if you tell somebody you hope that they get stung by a scorpion when they're out hunting, you don't actually mean that. That's how we express affection. And it's always been that way. I don't know. I didn't get, fire or wings or anything like that. I think he just moved me out of the way of myself when I need to.
What's Bartholo's, for lack of a better word, theme?
Roll a religion or history check, please. History for the culture, religion for the deity.
I'm more interested in Bartholo by themselves. Well, his theme is he loves big titties. He's all about some bazoinka zoinkas.
Great theme.
The dustpan-sized Donkey Kongs. Do you want to burn like your inspiration or anything on this?
Yeah, why not? I'll use it. We're in time skip mode. It's a lucky day. Why not?
There you go. There you go.
This one's for chat. I still think he's all about them tadas. What was I rolling again? Religion.
Religion. Because you need Jesus.
14.
Wit and cunning. But copper dragons breathe acid. So having a caustic tongue is literal for them. They're all about wordplay and not like big riddles and stuff, but repartee, retorts, and solving problems by outsmarting them, not by outfighting them. A copper dragon, if a blue dragon moves into their territory, although this is a Nakra, so dragon alignments aren't hard locked, but like if a monster or something moves into their territory, they're not just going to like strut up to them and say, stand forth and do battle. They're going to wage a guerrilla war of trolling to drive them insane so they leave. And if that doesn't work, then it weakens them to the point where they're easier prey. After all, the Bartholo clan definitely doesn't have a highly trained cadre of assassins.
So Bartholo would play Jeff Landshark.
100%. 100%.
Got it.
It's specifically amongst the Bartholo people. It is against their custom to draw blood or commit violence over injured pride. Like if somebody insults you or makes you mad and you hurt them, that is like one of the biggest taboos. Not only did you hurt them when they didn't actually commit violence against you, but you mad. And so
that's the true defeat.
Exactly. They greatly prize storytellers, bards, and performers, and they actually have like a word battle that they use, a battle of insults that they use to resolve disputes. And that's what, there's no like, I summon you to whatever. But when Sventisco went up there, she basically started doing that. She started following those patterns and those rules and baited the dragon into engaging that with her so that everybody saw her defeat him. Even though it could have dissolved her flesh.
So we're going to give her like the Bartholo boom of having that bard cantrip, right?
Vicious mockery?
Yeah.
Well, if she didn't have it before, I'm giving it to her now.
That just seems super appropriate, you know?
But yeah, whatever the blessing or boon that she's received, it seems to be about charisma skills and such, and presence. Like there's definitely some sort of magical effect on it, but it's mostly just kind of amplifying her.
I have another question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I have another question about your blessing boon thing. Washing your hair.
It hasn't turned green yet. Maybe it will when I get older.
Yeah. Like, do you dry it? Does it need to be like buffed?
No, I mean, it's not. It's kind of hard on brushes, but it doesn't really tangle. She again sort of like just fiddles with it.
Can you curl it?
I haven't tried. I'd probably need like a blacksmith forge.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe best not to. But
Yeah, potion of fire resistance, so I don't light my hair on fire. She has really straight hair, by the way. She's always had like very straight hair.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine getting ready for a ball or something and going to Blacksmith's Forge.
I mean, they wouldn't need the hammer and everything. Copper, I'm pretty sure, has like a low melting point, but they would still need to get it very hot in order to do that.
Yeah.
And the
Get like an iron rod to like curl it around, you know?
Yeah. Like the individual hairs are so thin that in a lot of ways it still functions as hair, but it is made of copper. So it's a weird in-between place. It's definitely stronger when braided.
Well, Sven, I suppose anytime you're publicly speaking at all, you should just pay a bit of attention. I mean, you as well, pay attention to how you're feeling, see if it lines up with how you felt back there, and if there's any differences.
Yeah. What about you two? I heard about Mantra told me what you went to Arx to do. And I'm only almost mad that you got to go and I didn't. Almost. Are you okay? She's looking at both of you.
Yeah. I think so. I think sometimes Garnet wants to erase me from existence, but, you know, due to the old family tree being a sealing spell for a dragon, you know, but besides that.
Yeah, well, her family isn't all clean either.
Yeah.
And if we were to slit Mantra's throat, you know, hypothetically, for fun, just a giggle.
For fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
There would be multiple candidates to seal the spell after that. It seems like Mantra's kind of a bookend, but also the narrowing of a tree. And up above, it gets a bit wider.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like a logistically bad idea. Mantra's a lot easier to protect by themselves, especially when they're at Ioth Academy.
Mm-hmm. There's also the logistics of waking up with a knife at your throat is the last thing you ever see if anyone kills him, which would pose some problems for your other plans.
Oh, that does seem like a small complicating factor.
Teeny tiny.
Like once we get like, you know, knife resistant throats, then it's kind of we're gonna have to redo the calculus.
You know what they say: if somebody builds a knife resistant throat, someone else builds a better knife.
It's true. Also, he was there and he saw us, and he spoke to us.
Yeah.
You're sure? I mean, I don't mean to say that you'd be lying, but like, how did you know? What did he say? What did they say? What was...
You mean through Nilranim, right? That we were just there for?
Oh, okay.
A lot of talk about justice. Something, I didn't do anything wrong, it was everybody else, and now I'm getting punished.
He's done some things wrong.
Yeah. He may have had a point that he was prescriptively punished for something he hadn't committed yet. But since then, his slate is more than filled with red. Yeah. Choices he made after does not forgive. The carte blanche the dragons took to drive them off.
How much can you even... I mean... The Herald claims to always speak the truth, but the other ones never said anything like that, right? What if they're just lying? Nobody really knows what happens back then.
Okay.
Well, aside from the people who were there.
We're running low on that.
Yeah. She puts both of her hands on her tea, as if kind of relying on it for extra warmth, even though it's spring and the temperature's fine.
What's our next step then? Involving, well, do we want to do anything about that dragon? What was its name? Vudresis?
Vudresis.
Right.
Yeah. Vudresis. If you want to talk to Master Diviner and use a crystal ball and see if that gets you anywhere, I can write a letter to the Table of Elders and see if they can spare anything for it.
If nothing else, a dragon is easier to track than the other humans of that cult, and will also provide a nexus. Presumably, they're receiving communiques. So if we can find a big-ass dragon, we can follow those who serve or align themselves with him.
Yeah, it is going to be clever, going to be tricky.
Also,
we're trickier. Okay. All right. I should go tell them that they can come back in here now. I asked for privacy. They gave it. It's boundaries. We all understand them.
When Citizen says, I asked for privacy, I look over at Mantra like, did I not get the memo?
No, you're good. Don't worry about it.
She gives Mason a kiss, gives Athalor a hug, and then stands back up and like sort of unconsciously snaps back into that absolutely perfect posture, just giving off more tall energy than is even justified for someone of her stature as she walks back out to go do leadership stuff again.
I don't remember, how tall is Sven?
I haven't calculated it exactly. I'm 6'4".
She's a long girl.
I'm 6'4", so my like measurements are kind of skewed. But I would just say imagine her as being very tall for her age.
Taller than either of us.
This is, I mean, my girlfriend in real life is 6'5", so this is just like,
Hell
just
yeah.
real life for me. So it's,
I don't think she would be like 6'5" now. But she's definitely, because she's still growing, but like, yeah, definitely like tall.
Good to know.
So, want to try and find a dragon, or?
So let's go do a little scry, see what that brings up at least.
On a dragon streak.
Yeah, we are.
It's a nice dragon week.
Dragon week, dragon streak.
We're in our dragon era.
Yeah, sure. I guess we'll head back somewhere, one of our rooms, and then pull out the orb. Scry Vudresis.
All right, stand by while the Dungeon Master searches the War of the Sun master document to figure out where the hell...
You had so many great things prepared, and we were like, but what if?
That's why I love this game, and I love playing with you guys. All right. The subject receives a saving throw, do they not?
I believe so. Let me
okay.
Go ahead. Wisdom?
It's either wisdom or
wisdom
intelligence.
Saving throw.
Okay. Did I keep the dragon's token, or did I send it to the Shadow Realm, or did I delete it? I deleted it.
Young adult something dragon.
Target.
It'll be in the journal somewhere.
Yeah, there should be no modifiers to it, I guess, because we've met them, which is 0, and then don't have.
We have something of
them.
theirs. I believe Sven's got their
we?
balls in a little box.
Yeah, that's a -10 to the save.
All right. So you said it's a wisdom save?
Yes.
Hiding the modifier, a 19.
Yeah,
Well,
bro.
You are fogged up.
Oh, a little too wise for me, it seems.
Maybe they're just in a cloaked location, you know?
Maybe. We can try again tomorrow, I guess, but nothing for now.
What else would you like
What
to
are you
do
up
that's
to?
not on my list? If I can't do it, I'll admit it.
Miscellaneous projects are around. We have our beeps and our boobs. I remember Untimore was coming back at some point. We should talk to the sage about that freaking fox. Goopy-esque?
Kustiak?
Kustiak.
I know it was a Q.
It was a coup.
Coup.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and find the sage in the office that she's basically lived in for the last year and a half or whatever?
Yeah. Does she just she doesn't sleep, does she? So she doesn't need a bed.
Mm-hmm. She just trances. And she spends a lot of time dream walking as well. When you arrive, she is in a trance, and around her hands and her temples, dream lights are flickering. But it seems that she is alerted to your presence, and so after you open the door and step inside, she raises a hand, like a single finger, for a moment. Or no, she just raises her hand for a moment, like, hold on. Then closes it. A minute passes. Another minute. A third minute. And the light fades, and her eyes open again.
Sweet dream?
Yes. She just tilts her head without her expression changing and just looks at Athalor.
Sometimes they were savoring. I need some advice. And maybe a dash of your encyclopedic knowledge of the threats to the realm. Have you ever seen something? No. I haven't. Ethel hasn't seen Kustiak, right? Just the voice in the head.
I believe you've only heard it. I don't think you've seen it. Garnet identified it and is likely to have shared that information with you, since she was pretty forthcoming overall. She even told Undramaler.
Yeah, what's the name of the species?
It's an Arcanoloth.
What do you know about Arcanoloths?
Negotiators. Scholars. Liars. With no true fealty or loyalty but to themselves. Skilled in magic. Elusive. Why?
Might be in some negotiations.
A dangerous prospect. Usually an unwise one.
Yeah. Everything we do worth doing these days is dangerous. What do you know about their ability to cross between planes? Specifically the shadow and material.
They have most of them have no special link to the place of shadows. If they were to cross back and forth, they would do it by their own knowledge. Just as a mortal mage would do. They have no ability to walk between worlds inherently.
Okay, so it's spellcraft rather than inherent movement.
Yes.
Did it say anything to you, Mantra?
No.
Volstabor?
I believe so.
Not just me. Oh, I guess.
And Garnet, I suppose.
And Garnet. Garnet saw an Arcanoloth at Volstabor when we went to try and quell the uprising. Using the Gem of True Seeing.
I think from what Garnet said, it only meant to talk to you, but Garnet just saw it.
Yeah.
So it sought you in particular, Athalor.
Unfortunately, yes. I don't know how it knew that I would be at Volch Tabor. Lucky guess, maybe.
Unlikely.
Maybe tracking us through the plane of shadow. This particular Archonloth, I believe we've met before.
During a previous journey, when you came to find me.
Going through Shadow Underwood, yes.
Yes. Did it admit to you or betray its desires?
I don't know how deep a base level desire this is. They want to know about my uncle.
At this, her expression changes. The sage is always one to listen. And it's not just out of compassion. It's often out of giving you the opportunity to provide the rope for your own hanging. It has gotten her a long way when she's dealing with those she suspects to be in league with darkness. But even then, she has lived for so long that she's found that she absorbs the most information simply by taking it in. But she has gone from her usual instructive position and is clearly more focused at the mention of your uncle. Ah. Things unknown until now. Knowledge that is not native to these four kingdoms.
Does feel serpentesque, doesn't it?
Sorry, what was that?
It feels serpentesque, doesn't it? Knowledge for, or hunger for knowledge that beyond the grasp of so many.
Perhaps it seeks a weapon, an advantage, an opportunity to profit. There are many possible reasons. But the serpent does have a certain draw to the Arcanoloths. Most of them do not love knowledge for its own sake. They love it for what it can do for them, to become stronger. And if they can accumulate that knowledge through pacts with the serpent, they will serve him because it serves their own interests. We cannot assume why this Arcanoloth wants to know this. But you may well be right.
It just have a similar vibe is all. Obviously, the standard response would be to tell them to fucking pound dirt. The burning eye, the horde we banished from the Dune Rider city.
Yes, Igor's army.
Yeah. What remains of it?
They march north.
They march north.
Yes.
The Arcanoloth has the armies here.
Ah. Do they serve him?
I don't know if they serve him or if he can simply steer them. A gentle push on the rudder. Or a hand on the throat. Either way, the Arcanoloth seems to imply that in exchange for some knowledge of my uncle, who I am far from protective of, Underwood could be spared. What is to come?
I see. She falls into thought as she processes this, leading to a silence that for one who remembers the first rising of the sun does not seem that long. But for a couple of teenagers, it's 5 minutes unless you interrupt her.
Occasionally looking at Mason like, is she dead?
She's done this before.
Then we must see to this army ourselves.
We have options.
Always.
We're down the Shadow Mage.
Yes. I know. But I am not a stranger to those paths. I have walked every way between the worlds. I have left my footprints on every path, treacherous and fair. And if this fiend seeks to leverage the army, your home, in pursuit of this knowledge, then we must remove that leverage and render him unnecessary. I have encountered more temptations than I can remember. And the only way I have stayed true to my charge without faltering is by removing them.
Of lateral negotiation.
There is no negotiation. It has power. It believes it has power over you. It will wield that power to get what it wants. We take away that power. And unless it still has something we want, it is empty. And we need not treat with a treacherous creature.
I'm all ears for ways to destroy this army coming from my home. If you have ideas aplenty.
I must think. I must consult Untermaler when he returns. I must speak to some I have met in my travels and find a way. And perhaps this is serious enough to turn the power of this school itself that way.
I'm sure I don't need to remind you that if Underwood falls, whoever takes it will have access to a raw source of dawn energy.
If Underwood falls, many who deserve to live will die. Many beautiful things will be lost. You need not remind me, Athalor. I remember everything. That word is heavy in the air when she says it. It is not a boast. It is a weary word. Unless you speak again She falls once more into silence, still aware of your presence. But as elves can walk the paths of trance and memory while still remaining aware of their surroundings, so now does she consult her own lifetime of experiences to find a way to lift the burden of temptation from Athalor. Do the two of you speak or have any other business with her?
Contra just looks at Athalor and just kind of like widens his eyes and gives a little like head tilt, like, oof.
We're glad to remember I'm not alone. Thank you, Sage.
You never are. And she continues to sort of stare off into places that are not here. And even as you step away from the room, the dreamlight gathers once more around her.
I don't know. Athel, like, outside the door, is to not disturb her. I don't know what an Arcane Loft could even do with knowledge of my uncle. Would it...
First, the question of why they're searching for it. Why now? Have they searched for it before and couldn't figure anything out? And then, who's it serving?
Yeah, like, who has something to gain from... I mean, maybe it's a mono-directional viewpoint for me, but I feel like everyone would benefit from my uncle's falling who happens to live on this world.
Unless they have some kind of ties or deals or whatnot. I don't know. Still so many questions. Has anyone come asking before for information on your uncle?
Play a memory check.
Not that I can immediately recall.
Mm-hmm. Only for Sage, really. And I think we both know what her intentions were with that information.
Yeah. Seems like something that most people in the world aren't even aware exists.
Yeah, and like, for those who do know, who could leverage it, I don't know, against my family politically, they already know, thanks to my fuck-ups.
Mm.
So it's not like it could be political blackmail. But maybe they want to try and find a way to control my uncle, but it seems like that feels above the Arcanoloth?
You mean for the Econoloth to try to find a way to control your uncle?
Yeah.
Is there a way to control him?
Garnet's done it.
He does seem to serve a purpose.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's due to some far-off master or like an animal's inherent instinct.
A flash of memory for both of you, something that each of you experienced before your paths truly crossed, and that left a permanent mark on your mind and soul. A sky bubbling like it's boiling, like an open wound, like blood. The sky itself churning. But instead of bursts of heat or steam rumbling forth, they are eyes and mouths. Unearthly shapes, insectoid beaks, proboscises, thirsting, hungry, clambering desperately, like a baby crying out for food or a blind animal on the hunt, grasping at anything that it can find. An image from years past, from the night of 1,000 eyes. an image that your uncle called forth. And on that lovely image, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. Don't go anywhere, folks. More Book of Dawn Ioth Academy when we return.
What's that do?
Something that gnomes didn't expect.
That's a great question. Right? If you have a gate open, it's a two-way street. So they could just come right back through. Go ahead.
Okay, that's like a bad roll, but like
I think I could help with that.
like if someone just heals me as I'm doing it, like I could keep this going all day.
What have I done? Okay, Avalor.
I could probably seal it one way, the gate.
I can at
When I
least
was
get
studying
25.
last night, I learned how to create a kind of a bridge that can support my friends but won't let my enemies step upon it. If I just cast it vertically in front of the gate, they couldn't move back through it.
What are they cooking?
Let them cook.
I think I like panned up my map and I saw that Brock's Kirby was just engulfed.
My Python rolls and up and on fire!
I think you'll
Hi. Okay, describe this devil's fate at the claws of Slobber Chops.
He gets like whipped around, lands on his head, still like conscious and alive. Slobs just starts like going at his ass, just like and just disembowels him.
Oh! Like I imagine the camera pans away and you hear a sound like a wood chipper, and you just gore spewing off to the side. It's like somewhat discretionary shot, but everybody
His legs are like.
And then Slobberchops' face comes up into the screen, covered in gore, and it just does the one lick, the one like aggressive face lick. Yep.
I hate exactly what it is. I hate everything I stand for.
Here, what the fuck is that?
Don't worry about that. Oh no, actually, I you can worry about that now. I mentioned it. That's the nigh invulnerable kraken that shipwrecked you on this island. What? Yeah, but he's fine now. He's just minding his own business, chilling, going around in the ring.
Okay. He's friendly, right?
I'll get back to you on that one, Haruka.
Wait, don't switch the.
Oh, we're gonna grind your bones to dust and then we'll lick it with our tongue. And every time we put you in the oven, we're gonna make it grow and get so yummy. It's gonna be good. We're gonna be tasty, just like we should. You're gonna die.
Thoras, you know this angel? Vouch for me. We've helped each other.
Thoras does not know the angel, but Thoras is also confused as to what is going on.
As am I. Help me if you can.
Alan, I have not known you much time, but you seem okay.
A rousing vouch. Thank you, Thoras. You remember when I let you borrow my car? You remember when I gave all of that money to orphan children? You remember when when I gave you those spare tickets that I had to that concert?
Thoras does not remember much. Thoras can only remember falling through the sky and looking very cool.
The Arbiter makes his way out of this portal, launches into the sky with his wings. Acolytes! You have come for dungeons and dice and death matches. And I have returned to satiate your bloodlust. As you look at each other in the sands of the arena, you've been here before. You were here that day. You know what happens in this arena. You know what is next. You know what you must do. Welcome to D20 Deathmatch.
What about Una?
What about it? What about him?
You think we could get drunk?
My familiar drunk?
Maybe. Sorry, I'm just contemplating all the possibilities.
So you have a horn that gets you drunk?
Yeah, we should. Well, stares at DM. Just is there other plans?
About those plans you had, I hope you've got a good drunk Una voice.
Look, it's up to you to just go for it. Underage drinking, why
I'm
not?
mostly kidding. I'm mostly kidding.
I had one thing
Mhm.
left to do, and now she's getting frustrated because this motherfucker not listening.
Mhm.
So, as like maybe blood is coming out of her nose or something from
Only a
the
little.
necrotic damage,
Mhm.
we'll just kind of start laughing, and we'll place the open book on her face like a mask, and say, "You will be alone just like me," in the exact word that Seosh said in that one time. Leaving you with a nice little cliffhanger.
Yeah, okay, bye.
What's happening?
Okay, so I had some idea that you were going to do something, but I never thought for a moment about using the book as a Vox mask. I have no idea what that does. I have not.
I don't know either.
Foggy. Let's say Mia Hethil, because he's right in the middle of 3-player characters. So, you know, him in particular.
I take it the burning didn't kill her.
Yeah, roll 1d10, but it's fire resistant, so. Dunk.
Where is Mr. Reaction with a ward guy?
He used it. That shit's gone.
Oh, gone for
Dunk.
forever?
Well, until his next long range. A long rest.
La 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 la. La la la.
Don't need no wards for dealing with these fucking idiots.
That should be one of your sub sounds on your channel. La, 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 la. Welcome back to Book of Dawn, Ioth Academy. Just as a heads up to folks, we are not calling it right now, but we're going to call an early night tonight. So, show will end a little bit earlier than normal. No idea when. Just sort of, you know, brace yourselves for impact. We all have the sleepies. That being said, our heroes have confided in the Dokilfar sage Gelgeis, one of the children of Luminius, older than the Four Kingdoms themselves, about the Arcanoloth who sought to make a deal in order to learn about Athalor's otherworldly uncle. There are multiple other people in the college who want their attention. When thinking about what it is that ties, that binds or ties or commands Lamriel Anandarud, a memory flashed back to the Night of 1,000 Eyes, when they asked Uncle to protect them from the sage herself, and invoked a vision of horror and a hunger from beyond the dark. And on that pleasant note, the stage is yours. There is a number of different directions that we can go from here.
Is there anything Mantra needs to do?
Not specifically, I don't think. Catching up with Sven was the big thing, and then just thinking a lot about the
Implications
events.
of my existence.
Yeah. the events, implications of existence, other mirror realm shit that can't really do right now. So,
Do you want to maybe do a split where like Mantra goes Tower of Divination to figure out about themselves / the dragon, and I go Tower of Abjuration, so we can do like cut back and forth.
That works perfectly. That works well for me. On your way there, both of you roll 1d20, please.
Ooh, rolling.
Gamba.
Gamba. Oh.
Ooh.
Wow.
Both 18.
Roll again.
Roll it again.
I will win until me.
17. Oh my god, that is very much you.
Yep. All right. Congratulations.
You're
Mason,
first.
as you make your way to the Tower of Divination, keeping in mind what they learned about Conscare, the child of Imago themselves, the first descendant in the line that traces back to the Mirror Keeper, the first link in the chain that must join the last link for the chains to bind. As they're contemplating all these things and what the Tower of Divination has already been able to uncover and what you've seen in your visions, you practically bump into somebody carrying a very large pile of books who is not looking where they're going, who's leaving the Tower of Divination. It's Cryus.
Hey, watch it, Buster.
Like, oh, sorry, I didn't. Is that? Oh, Cryus. Hello. It's Mason.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Mason. Yeah.
You
don't go here.
No, but I have some business here.
Yeah, of course.
Questions to ask. Yeah. Has the other pixies and all still bothering you recently, or
no? That
you've
issue's
hidden
been
from them
resolved.
sufficiently. Oh, okay. Nice. Glad to hear.
Yeah, we've come to an understanding, and I don't go near them.
Did you before go near them?
They went
I
near
thought
me.
you just. Yeah. Okay.
There are only some variables that I can control, and so I'm controlling all those variables. One of those variables is my pathways and my movement. And if I can calculate those, I can reduce the effects of the non-calculable ones.
Sounds like some solid logic there. Yeah.
Things
Can't
are
fault you for that.
very difficult to calculate.
You seem to be calculating a lot with that pile of books.
I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot to get done, and in our 6th year, the resources necessary for this sort of work aren't readily available to me like they are to other classmates, so I have to rely on my own intuition and efforts, almost
Working
explicitly.
on school stuff or personal projects?
School? What? No. No, we're at war.
Yeah, we are.
It's
You
more.
just seem very studious always. Not that that's not a bad thing, of course.
Knowledge is power. We need power. We have to be safe.
Yeah. Dangerous times.
I won't ask your questions if you don't ask mine.
Didn't know it was so private.
Right. He starts walking off, and as he goes, you can tell like he's got major bags under his eyes. He's shaking a little bit from caffeine. He probably hasn't been getting enough sleep.
Yeah, that's fair. Just, take care of yourself. That's important too.
Bro just did a
Calls
line
out
of
to him.
joke into a library.
Yeah, if he heard you, he doesn't respond. He takes all these back to the mist, the tower. I think it's the Tower of Mist that he lives in now.
Yeah.
But yeah, barring that, the tower is at your disposal. Let's actually cut over for a moment to Athalor, who has received a notice of invitation from Mia Hethil. Meet me in my office at your earliest convenience, please.
Was there any prescribed activity like inviting for tea, or is it
No.
just meet me in the office?
Just meet me in my office at your earliest convenience.
He probably knows Athelor's here, but Athelor still waits outside his door for a couple of seconds, like rubbing his temples.
The door swings open as he is rising from his desk, and he just kind of opens it with a gesture. Athelor, please come in.
Master Mir Hethel, good afternoon. Athelor
As you
comes
walk-
in and
Mhm. As you walk in, you notice a clear crystal carafe of water is set out, and a couple of fine silver Onderudi glasses as well.
to see the creature comforts of home are still here.
We must take what comforts we can. And he sits down and gestures for you to sit on the other side.
Lord sits down and gives a diplomatic and warm smile. Sorry, I haven't checked in for many private lessons recently. It's been hectic.
Actually, Athelor, it's my place to apologize. I have been far too late to offer you condolence or aid after the loss of your mother.
It's been easier to feel like I lost her a long time ago, or at least a longer time ago. Makes it feel less fresh, no matter what the reality is.
The light of the pearl shines upon you because chat wants you to be able to snoop in on whatever he's doing, so you have advantage on insight and wisdom saves for the rest of the episode. You have many years ahead of you to make your own legacy and accomplish your own great works, but also simply to live as one of your people. Roll an insight check with advantage, please.
15.
There was a slight hiccup when he said, your people are our people. Because he wanted and means to count you as his people, as the Alfar. But in reality, you're something different. And so that little glitch, that little blip that you detected was him sort of speaking, saying that, kind of talking through the hiccup in his own head about that. I say this not as a condescending elder, but as someone who has seen your many accomplishments, expects you to accomplish many more, and is of your kin. You do not yet know how young you are. Not in terms of wisdom or craft or emotions, but simply in terms of time. And someday this will be so far away that you need only walk the paths of memory to this place when you choose to. But that time has not yet come. And I commend whatever choices you make within your own self to navigate these paths of pain in this time of eternal crisis. And I am in no position to judge you or even to advise you on the pathways of grief. But Athalor, distant as it may be, I am family. And amongst our ancient people, it is imperative that I honor that. And so I wish to make myself available to you for anything that you require in the wake of this obscene tragedy. And I want you to know that your people understand this grief.
Have you heard much from Underwood?
From time to time, yes. My duties here largely keep me busy, but I have remained abreast of those events.
Is there anything I'd want to hear?
The city is safe. The armies of Ioth have vanished. Archon Amalek is nowhere to be seen. But with every passing month, our defenses grow stronger. Our allies are still supporting us. The city holds, and the people are not idle.
You studied here, right? For abjuration?
In part, yes.
That was the other part.
Onderud itself is... We have our own rich magical tradition. There are many accomplished practitioners who learn almost everything about the craft and never leave home. I did not attend this place at your age. I came here many years afterwards in order to improve and hone my craft in this very tower.
And did you leave after that?
No, I remained here. Year after year, steadily, until I achieved this position.
Hundreds of years? Decades?
No.
5?
Decades.
Do you miss it? Do you miss home?
His loss is incalculable. He can never be replaced. He was one of the last lights of Luminius, and that light has been forever extinguished. I mourn deeply for his loss. He has always been distant. Distant both from others and from the day-to-day operations of this school. He had not been fully present to the faculty for many years. Since I arrived. Before I arrived.
My father. Were you two, like, aside from just, being family, close friends?
I don't know if the common word friends would strictly apply. I admire him greatly. His skill, his ambition, his tact. And I associated myself with him both during our youth and in my professional career. He respected that. There's loyalty due to family and to craft. The innermost workings of his heart were rarely exposed to me. He has always been a very private man. Roll an insight check again with advantage.
Ooh, 21.
21. He is uncomfortable with this topic. I would have given you that with like a 14.
Mm-hmm.
There's many reasons why the person who's spying on behalf of your father here would be uncomfortable with the topic. But there's more to it than that. You're not just getting the vibes of somebody who is trying to keep their poker face. He is troubled by something.
Did you know him before he was exiled from a city?
We'd not yet grown close. Aside from childhood meetings and being raised in the same city. It was not until he returned that I truly came to appreciate what I had in him.
Were you there in Underwood when he came back?
No.
What's
I was
it
at the
like?
academy.
So you heard secondhand?
Yes.
Wish I could have seen it.
An obvious impossibility, but I don't blame you.
I feel that perhaps one day I'll have to do the same. A tutorial would have been nice.
What do you mean by do the same? Asking out of character.
Return to Underwood from...
Okay. Because Mia Hethel would have picked up on that because he's super smart.
Yeah.
All right.
But from like a dethroned position in a non-monarchistic society.
I think that I am confident that wherever you choose to settle your day, to settle for however long and exercise your craft, if they do not welcome and accept you, then they're ignorant fools.
A couple of those around. Was Lamriel at the childhood meetings?
Lamriel he grew up there as well. Yes.
Did they get along? Were they friendly brothers? Competitive?
Always. Very close. From the beginning. I feel they understood each other better than anyone else.
What happened to my father when Lamriel went missing? Did he change? Or was it politics face? All the way down.
He did change. I believe the event was harshly educational and transformative for him. I believe it altered his perspective on knowledge, on the craft, on the shape of the world. Before then, he never allowed anything to interfere with his research. He sought always to remove obstacles. And after Lamriel's loss, he slowed down. He became more cloistered than before. The one to whom he could unburden himself was no longer there. And so his burdens grew.
Sounds like a similar tale to Ioth when he lost his companions.
Loss is the melody to our people's song. And we create what harmony we can along with it.
Feels like that harmony is sometimes good men doing selfish things to try and pull themselves away from a chorus and play a greedy solo.
He doesn't say anything. He nods, apparently in agreement. But again, seems troubled. Seems uncomfortable beyond deception or mere social friction. There's a deeper set discomfort. An unhappiness.
Do you think he knows?
Yes. I do. I was not always privy to the inner workings of your father's heart. And when the two of them wed, it was a brilliant decision. They were perfectly suited for each other. The one countered the other's weaknesses and bolstered their strengths. Politically, it was a very savvy move, one that has greatly benefited both of them, and those benefits have flowed out to the rest of their families. But I do know that if he loved anything, he loved your mother. He almost adds to that, but chooses not to. And he doesn't think you've noticed.
If he knows and he hasn't said something to me, I want him to be angry. I want him to feel the same burning lust for revenge that I do. I went to the heart of Oryx with Mason to ensure that the Mirror Keeper's servants would see justice, because whatever the Mirror Keeper said, he has no face, he has no body, he has plans, he has desires, and I want to see them ruined. And I want my dad to do that too. It can't just be me getting vengeance for Mum. He's so strong. And he's hiding. He's hiding.
Mihethil leans back, not recoiling from the outburst, just slowly inclining his chair slightly away. And he measures his words very carefully and very tactfully, as someone who grew up in a place where you always have to guard yourself and tread lightly and delicately around others. And yet another long elven pause, the pause of somebody who has lived over a century to your 16 years. And behind his eyes flash many sentences, and you can see them passing by, but you cannot read them. You know only that one by one, they well up within his mind, and he discards them, one after the other. And the one that he finally settles on is not his first choice. It's just the best one that he can go with. I do not think that Arai is the type to remain idle.
Better not be. He is the strongest abjurer in generations of elves. A material plane could be shielded entirely if Hadorai and Underroot asked for it, and he can't protect his wife, my mother, because he's missing. Hiding away. I saw him as a god. He had the name of a city. He was the one who sang to Vijaya, and Vijaya sang back. And when she was in trouble, who knows? There are no guardian angels left.
No. But there is still family. And I will not abandon you.
Thor kind of just reaches out across the table and tries to grab one of his hands.
He responds to the gesture.
I can't afford to lose another one.
He squeezes. Sorry, go ahead.
All I think about since that day is how I'm going to destroy rather than build. I thought I could sit at the center of Underwood and play politics, play protector, sing sweet songs to Vijaya, and our people could live in our demi-plane, out of phase from reality, and not facing what was outside, but now all I think about is how to ruin every spectre and visage of a creature I even barely know exists. Myths and boogeymen. And in the shadow of every person I meet. And I don't know how to stop that from being all I am right now.
Right now. Perhaps this will be your season of burning, Athalor. But it will not be your last. You are of our people. And the years stretch out before you past the horizon. And in the time that others live and die and must decide who they are and tell that story once, you will have the chance to become many different people, each of them wiser and stronger than the last. And each will learn from the other. And if the person that you need to be now is a destroyer, so let it be.
But what if part of what I need to destroy is sitting under Ninri?
Give me another insight check with advantage, please.
I'm going to roll a lucky die on that.
All right, roll one additional roll.
Yeah, the first one. 11.
Okay,
Oh boy,
11.
dizzying heights, baby.
Tapping out an 11. You have that lucky god D8.
True, I've got a D8. Oh, sorry, I quick melee my microphone right there.
If Crowan's cool with it, you can burn
Oh,
that
yeah.
now.
Huge. Oh my
12.
god. 12. All the
Okay.
spice in the world.
As far as you can tell, he's just listening. Not passively, but just intaking this. He has not let go of your hand if you haven't.
I thought it was like intensely squeezing. He's having a very troubled teenager moment.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you choose to do it wisely and do it carefully.
It's unfortunate to report that I'm starting to understand Garnet a lot better.
We can always learn from them. Just act not only for your own sake, not only for your mother's sake, but for the sake of each new person you still have the chance to become. Don't forget about them. Protect them.
when we go to the summer court, I'd like it if you joined me.
Of course.
I thought maybe my mother would be there, but
oh, he took that one. He doesn't. His body doesn't react too much, but it does. He sort of flinches, not away from you, but just sort of at the reality of the subject. But he remains present. I promise.
Athor kind of lets go of the hand for a second, just pressing down on the desk and kind of like circles it and just goes for for a big hug.
All right.
Might be very uncomfortable for me, Hathor.
It's not his normal style, but then again, you are very young. He accepts it. He embraces you back.
I hope he's planning something big.
Yes.
It's going to take a lot for me to forgive him not talking when she's gone.
I hope that if he deserves your forgiveness, he has time enough to do so.
Hathor just kind of nods and lets his head sink deeper into Mia Hathor's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I miss her a lot.
He just nods.
Sometimes I sit down on my desk and I think about writing a letter. And then your brain has to catch up and ask to who?
That is why we write songs and poems as love letters to the lost.
I just make someone a promise to write more songs. I think I've got room for many for Mum in my heart.
He nods.
Thank you.
Always, Athalor on Onderud.
It's seen.
Scene. Crowan, are you cool if we cut it there and get back to you next week?
That's perfect.
I don't want to follow that. You want to follow that? No. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today on Book of Dawn Ioth Academy. Thank you so much to all of you. Thank you to my fantastic cast, and we will see you next time.